Have you ever had a dream that was just so vivid that it took a minute or two when you first woke up to realize that it was actually a dream? Well, today's episode is about one of my experiences like that, where a really bad dream led to a really good day. Check it out. This morning I woke up just in a state, like I don't even know the word. I dreamt I was in the woods and I was sitting on the ground, just peaceful, just relaxing. It was so green and so lush. And it was like the temperature was right and I could feel the sun on my face, and I had a piece of paper in my hand, and it was a yellow piece, like a legal pad piece of paper. And I was just chilling. And out of nowhere comes this huge bear, and it just lurches towards me. And as I put my hands up, like to protect my face, this bear just chomps down and grabs this yellow piece of paper out of my hand, and it takes off running. And I jump up and I run after it because I desperately need this yellow piece of paper. And then as I'm running through the woods, I realize that my feet hurt because I'm actually running on ice, and the ice is cutting up my feet because I have no shoes on. And now the bear's a polar bear, and it dives in the water with this yellow piece of paper that I so desperately need to get back. And so I jump in and I swim after this polar bear, and I grab its tail. And I recall thinking how small this tail is compared to how huge this bear is. Anyway, I'm just shocked at this tiny little tail, and apparently the bear is shocked too because it turns towards me with this look of surprise, and it opens its mouth, and my yellow piece of paper floats out of its mouth, and I just grab it. And the next thing in my dream, I am unfolding this very wrinkly, soppy wet piece of paper, and I look down, and all the black ink is just smearing all over the paper. And I just wake up frantic. That's the state. I woke up feeling frantic because my paper was my to-do list and it had been ruined. And it was like I didn't know what to do, and I just felt lost. And that feeling stuck with me all morning long, and it just disturbed me. It really just kind of felt alarming, really, by what was alarming was how important this to-do list was to me. In fairness, I've had a lot of conversations lately about to-do lists. I've been working with this gentleman who is recently retired, and he's struggling in his retirement. He's struggling because, to start out with, he said he had nothing to put on his to-do list. And that bothered him. And as we started to investigate the stories in his head, he started to share with me that what he did every day, he would get up, get dressed, go to work, come home, be a husband, be a father, get up, get dressed, go to work, come home, be a husband, be a father. The majority of his waking hours, he was at work, at a very long, very successful career that, quite frankly, defined him. And as we've been working together in the last few weeks talking about his retirement and his to-do list and his naked, empty to-do list, what's been fascinating is helping him identify how much of his identity was wrapped up in what he did. And we talk about what we do all the time. How you been doing? What you been doing? What you been up to? You meet somebody at a party. What do you do? Well, I do this. What do you do? We often define ourselves by what we do. We spend a lot of our day, if not all of our waking hours, doing. And we often compare ourselves by what we do. We judge ourselves by what we do. Hell, I judge my day by what all I have done. I have said a gazillion times, oh my God, I was so productive today. I had such a great day. I was so productive. Like I just throw all that into this one thing. As though the message somewhere from the stories in my head is that when I am productive, I am good. When my day is productive, my day is good. And I had shared this with this gentleman, and we agreed that we both have been given the message. There are stories in our heads that give us the message that when we are being productive, we are good. As though if we have a period of non-productivity, it's not good or it's bad. Is that true? That when we have periods of non-productivity that we are bad? Or that space and time is bad? I know that when I've been in my dark spaces and I wasn't at all productive, I felt guilty about that. I know as a wife, as a mother, I have had times where I took times of rest and I felt guilty because I was not doing. When in fact, resting is doing, it's a type of doing, and it's a very important thing. A little side note, I think resting is a skill set that a lot of us are not taught. Like if we're awake, we are doing, we are producing, we're doing, or we're asleep. But there's this space between being awake and being asleep. When we're not actually doing things, we are resting. And that's a very important space. And I don't know why the message in my head, the story was that if I rested, I needed to feel guilty. But that's been my truth. And I shared this with this gentleman who's struggling with his to-do lists. And we've had lots of conversation lately about rest and about doing and not doing. And I've spent my morning thinking about all of these things, like this man identified himself by what he did for a living. And now that he's retired, a huge piece, if not all of his identity it's now lost. Like it's in the mouth of a bear and it's running away. And he feels frantic. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know how to define himself right now. And we agree that to define ourselves based on our to-do list, it's questionable. And you know I like questions. I wonder how much of how we see ourselves is based on what we do. And based on what we do we then judge ourselves as being good or bad, like we might judge our day being good or bad based on how much we got done that day. When was the last time you rested and felt good about it? And I'm not saying you were sick, so you had to rest. I'm not saying you're rested because you're on vacation thinking about how much shit you've got to do when you get back. No, I'm talking about truly resting. Letting the body relax, letting the mind relax, letting the belly soften. Just be still and rest. I know that I don't often feel rested. I know I spend a lot of energy on my lists. Lists are important to me. I love lists. I have all kinds of lists. I have bucket list and Christmas list and to-do list and email list and list of errands and grocery lists, and I really love marking things off my list. It feels good to me. It feels productive, and that's a good thing, and I'm not minimizing lists. I find them important. They help me focus. They help me stay organized. Sometimes, to be honest, they help me procrastinate because I spend time gathering my list and rewriting my list and color coordinating my list and basically use them as a procrastination sometimes, yes. But my lists have value to me, but I don't want to be held hostage by my lists, and I damn sure don't want to judge my day or myself based on a to-do list. I don't want my to-do list to have so much power that it creates a nightmarish situation. I want to help this man see his retirement as a new space, as a new him, a new opportunity to start new things if he chooses, to finish old things if he chooses, to redefine himself, to make himself whoever he wants to be. And so, this afternoon, this man and I decided to start a new experiment, and I invite you to join us. Tomorrow, I'm going to give up my to-do list and my grocery list and my Christmas list and my phone call list, and I'm just going to start my day with one new list. I'm going to create a to-be list. To-be list. How do I want to be today? And I'm not saying that this is in lieu of doing. I will still do. But I'm going to start my day with a to-be list. And maybe, just maybe, it'll change how or what I do. Maybe this gentleman that I've been working with, when he starts his day with how he wants to be, it'll allow him to do different. It'll allow him to define himself different. It'll allow him to see his day and himself different. I don't know. It's a question mark. It's an experiment. A to-be list. How do I want to be today? I can tell you I'd like to be hydrated. You know, I always start there. I like quick, simple, easy, cheap, preferably free. And thankfully, I have water at my house, and I can hydrate. And I can take deep breaths, so I can be oxygenated today. I can be patient. I can be rested. Today I can be focused. I can be timely. I can be punctual. I can be anything I want to be today. Today I want to think about how I want to be today, which in effect is who I want to be today, as I'm doing whatever it is I'm going to do today. That's my experiment. I'm super excited to start my day tomorrow with my to-be list. I'm excited for this gentleman that I'm working with to run this experiment with me. I'm excited if you choose to run it as well. Who knows what's going to happen? That's the excitement. That's the excitement. How do you want to be today? However you choose, I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to be joyful. I woke up frantic. I'm going to go to sleep excited. Because tomorrow, I'm going to start my day choosing to be joyful. Join me.